back on with some roster reviews. We've got 25 in the queue, and I'm going to do 10 right now on this video. As you're watching these, if you want to know if yours is in it, you can check the timestamps. If you want to start skipping the queue, we'll find ways to do that. We'll do these roster reviews for free as long as we can, but now that 10 a day isn't going to be enough to keep up, we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at this first one as I pull up my notes. This one is for, looks like it's right up here. 12 team Superflex start 10. Again, if you're watching this as the first one, if your team has defense, kickers, IDPs, I'm probably just going to start adding in a filter to keep IDP leagues out. I just don't know enough to really help. If it's really a start 12, like great, because that's what I'm going to talk about this league as though it is. If it's not a start 12, let me know on the resubmit. Let me grab your name, throw it in there for the timestamp. First one up, Superflex. We're going to go position by position. We'll talk about where you're strong, where you're weak, what your outlook looks like for the next couple of years for contending, when you might need to do a rebuild, and then we'll talk about some moves you can make. Quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Caleb Williams, the combo meal, Richardson and Jones, Tyson Bagent, Jimmy Garoppolo. These are two dart throw options and then a good third tandem. Like, this feels like a strong safe four. Lamar's got QB1 upside. We hope to see a big breakout for Caleb Johnson. I'm a big Bears fan. I would love if he broke out. I think this value of QB10 is about spot on. It's building in some upside. His year last year wasn't as bad as people make it out to be. He threw plenty of touchdowns. He had some issues with kind of hitting guys deep. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he was low on interceptions and he can extend the play. The offensive line has gotten much better in Chicago. I'm expecting to return roughly QB10 value with a lot of upside. Running backs, Genty, McCaffrey, Mixon, Tootin, Braylon Allen, Garendo, and some dart throw options. This year is probably a 3 to 4. So we said this was a 4. We're looking at a 3 to 4 here. We're hoping to see a big year from McCaffrey to help you hit the championship. Genty, we really just want to see him hit the ground running. Not really a pun that I meant to say there. And then Joe Mixon is kind of an example of why I try to just get out on a running back at 27 or later. He was okay last year. He was pretty good last year. And now he's going into the year with lingering injuries. Like, this RB25 value could evaporate pretty quickly. And I bet it's hard to move Joe Mixon for you right now. Wide receivers, Rome Odunze, Xavier Worthy, Luther Burden, Mike Evans, Keon Coleman. We're starting to get to some thin options for starting wide receivers. This feels like a 2 or probably a really weak 2. Like, it's just Odunze, Worthy, Evans. And then we're hoping to see a breakout from Coleman and a quick breakout from Burden for you, and like a couple dart throw guys like Demario Douglas and Dante Thornton. I don't feel confident about a starting lineup. We'll keep going. Tight ends, Trey McBride, Colston Loveland. This is probably a 4 or a 5. Like, Isaiah Likely, who's going to be injured to start the year. You're hoping that he's back by the time you might need him to start a week for Trey McBride, but you could survive any sort of injury time with him. There is a tight end premium here. I like the prospect of Colston Loveland, but I'm not expecting him to be much this year. Like, you have Trey McBride. Trey McBride was not a great tight end for his first year and a half of his career. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened with Colston Loveland. Like, tight ends just are not big fantasy impact guys as rookies. Brock Bowers and Laporta were, and Laporta worked with Ben Johnson, the new head coach for the Bears, so it could happen. I'm just not looking to bet on it, and you're not. You have Trey McBride to get you through. So with this team, like, you've got strengths at quarterback, decent running back room, strong tight end room, and we're looking for receivers. On this board, on this like setup, you're at the top, 117,000. That's keep trade cut value. Just what does the market think of your players and how much could you move them? But I mean, this team looks safe to make the playoffs. So you're contending this year. You're probably contending next year. Like you have enough value to work around losing Joe Mixon, Christian McCaffrey, Mike Evans probably, and the downside of Brandon Ayuk. So where can we make some moves? Options to help you contend next year would be, let's not take an upside swing on Caleb and let's down tier to like Baker. You're going to get really good production from Baker for the next couple of years. You're losing some of the possible upside value swing, but you're kind of just cashing in QB 10 value. You down tier to Baker and upgrade from, like, could you move Caleb and Ayuk and come away with Baker and a receiver who's going to be starting for you like every week this year? That's kind of what you need. Same thing with Colston Loveland. Like, it's a great luxury to have a second high upside tight end, but your team should be going for the championship this year. And if you miss the playoffs or don't get into the championship because you've been waiting for Colston Loveland to break out, it's not a move I'm looking to make. I'm in a league where I probably need to move Colston Loveland. Like, I have Laporta, but I have weak receivers. I probably should just get him gone, especially before week 1. If he doesn't, like, I do worry that it's going to take some time. If there's a preseason game and Colston Loveland is a big part of it, like, and I can get out for 2 firsts, I might be doing that for Colston Loveland. So if you could move Loveland in a first and get a massive receiver back, I'd be open to that. Like, your team should make the playoffs and you want to be getting into the championship. I don't know that I need to wait for Loveland to develop. You're sticking with Evans. I'm only moving Ayuk if I'm doing it as part of like up tiering from Ayuk. And then anyone else here, like Demario Douglas, Dante Thornton, if you could sell those guys now at full value and get an up tier off of them, I would be open to do that. I mean, if you could move like Loveland and Thornton and come back with a great receiver, that's kind of the stuff I'm looking to do with these guys that are just these guys are just dart throws. Like last year, Adonai Mitchell was well thought of for the Colts, and now he's an afterthought. Dante Thornton could be that same thing. Demario Douglas could be that same thing. I'm not necessarily waiting for a ton of these guys to hit. I'd like to move one. What other options do we have for you here? I mean, if Anthony Richardson is named the starter, I'm probably looking to get out. Because if you can get a first plus for him, I'd be thrilled to get that. I don't know that Anthony Richardson is the starter going into next year. So he's a rookie. He's going into year 3 right now. I think it's before year 4 they need to decide on his 5th-year option. Check on that, but I'm not sure they pick it up. I'm not sure Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen are retained after this year. We could see a full reset for the Colts. So if you can get out, like if Richardson's named the starter and say he starts week 1 and you can just let someone else take him, I'd be looking to do that. But I want well over a first back for him. Other options, I mean, if you could sell Burden hype, I would. It doesn't really bother me that you have Odunze, Burden, Loveland, and the Bears. You might be a Bears fan. I'm a big Bears fan, but I just don't want to hold a bunch of like maybe options. I want to convert Luther Burden and Dante Thornton into something that I feel really secure in. So that's what I would look to do with this team. Those are the places I would look to make moves. We'll mark this one done, and we're on to the next one. We got Jackfancher. Let me get a timestamp. Jackfancher at 9:25, 0925. Paste. Here we go. Jackfancher. Let me move this over here so I'll always have the time. Jackfancher in a 12-team Superflex Start 11, full PPR, half-point tight end premium. Let's find your team on this ranking. We're not really going to worry about this ranking too much, although you're in the top 3. Looks like you guys have been going for a couple years, or someone is just really bad at drafting. So this 117 versus 112, I don't think that's going to really determine who wins the league, or do I think that's that big enough of a gap that you should really be worried? I think you're probably among the contenders, but we'll take a look at your team position by position and we'll talk about it. Quarterbacks: Caleb Williams, Jalen Milroe, Daniel Jones, Dylan Gabriel. So this is probably a 2 out of 5 on my ranking. We're going to go position by position and rank these things. Like, you know that, Jack. I think you submitted a trade question possibly about getting another quarterback. So I might look at sending away Jalen Waddle. Could you get Tua on this team? Could you send Zay Flowers and get Tua? Like, that's a really good low value, high upside player. You know, you have no one. So if you're taking that risk, or see if you could get Tua for like 2 future firsts, that would seem like a steal. Once he's playing, like, Tua's not bad. If we pull up his stats from last year, he missed some time. Like that's a bummer. But he was a really good quarterback in 2023. And when he was playing, like, he was even a little bit better last year. So he had a rough game in week 2 and then was knocked out and then came back and, like, 23, 28, 25, 23. That's Tua numbers. He's healthy right now. I'm expecting to have good stretches of 23, 25, 28. Like, I'm buying Tua where I can. If I need a second quarterback, I'm fine with having Tua be my second option. I'm in a slow draft right now where I'm planning to draft Tua. That's the first spot I would look at. I know you had sent something like CeeDee Lamb trying to get another big option. I would shoot for lower, cheaper, valuable producers. Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield, Tua. You could probably get Sam Darnold for really cheap. Like, with your team, if you have a bunch of value here, I might just try to keep it all in running backs, wide receivers. You have Caleb for big upside, and then just take like a safe QB2, like Bryce Young, Sam Darnold, something like that. Running backs: Devon Achane, David Montgomery, Tank Bigsby, Dobbins. This is probably a safe room. Like, Achane has RB1 upside. David Montgomery, I think, still has a role in Detroit. We're just getting towards the end of his time. I think he's cuttable after this year. So if you wanted to get out, now would be the time. Tank Bigsby is getting some camp hype right now. J.K. Dobbins, I bet, has a role. I feel like you have enough here. You've got your 1 and 2 for most weeks, and then you've got Tank or Dobbins for bye weeks. Although this probably only feels like a strong 3. So we gave that a ranking. This is a 3. And we're hoping to see studs at wide receivers: Neighbors, Lamb, Ibuka, Williams, Jordan Addison, Jalen Waddle, Jalen McMillan. Let's start counting these out because there's a bunch. Like Neighbors, Lamb, Ibuka, Williams, Flowers, Addison, Waddle. That's 7 options. Like, that's really great. This is probably an amazing 4 or a pretty weak 5. It's probably a 5 on value with how many guys you have. We just need to make some moves. Tight ends: Tyler Warren, Elijah Arroyo, Eric All, AJ Barner. Like, you've got the Seattle locked up. Although I don't know when Tyler Warren starts producing. Like, in camp, I'm hearing they're using him all over. Sometimes with tight ends and the way that it takes a while for them to develop, I think some of that's related to like blocking schemes and getting out there. And if Tyler Warren's running more exotic concepts, like, do they just get him out there on screens and pass plays? Possibly. I would want someone like a Kelsey or an Ertz on here locking this up. So it's probably a 3 or a 4 just on value, because here Tyler Warren's listed as tight end 4. I don't know what it's going to be on production. So your draft picks, you've got them all. Like, this team is contending this year. You have the value to contend. We just need to reshape it. So let's talk about some moves. We covered quarterbacks. I don't know that there's any other running back moves I think you should make. Like, we covered Dak. I would check on this team. Like, How does the Purdy guy feel? Like, who has Purdy? He's got Hurts, Purdy, Wilson. Not a top option. I'm looking for guys with 3 starters that might make it a little bit cheaper. Like, this guy has Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins, Mason Rudolph, Herbert, Goff. Man, who's got 3? There's got to be someone with 3. Dak, Geno, Driscoll. I don't know what the... I mean, if the Dak guy sees himself as rebuilding, he's near the bottom, like, you could probably get Dak for... I mean, if you sold Jameson Williams, I'd probably rather have Dak in a 12-team superflex. You could sell a young player with a lot of hype and just get Dak Prescott and, like, go from 7 good receivers to 6. I think you can afford that. You can afford that. Even if you're a Jameson Williams believer, I'm not a big one. But you could definitely afford that. Other options, let's scan. We're just looking for who has multiple quarterbacks. Like, Darnold is probably dirt cheap from this guy, or Bryce Young. I like Bryce as a good cheap option. It hurts Purdy. We looked at him. Burrow, Baker. This guy's going Jaden Daniels and then Dart and Jameis. Trevor, Penix, Fields, Tua. So this is probably the guy to go to. I think I mentioned in a trade response to you, like, also target Fields. If you just need him for a year, he's a great option. Stroud, Love, Kyler. This is a great guy to talk to. Would he move Jordan Love? Like, some people are just down on Jordan Love. I'm not. Those are great options for your second quarterback. I don't really want to do massive changes. Like, you've got Malik and Lamb. Those guys can be league winners for you. I don't really want to sell Ibuka because there's so much, like, actual upside. That I think Ibuka has more actual upside than Jameson Williams. So I would move Jameson before Ibuka. If someone looks at Zay Flowers as wide receiver 23, I'd probably move on. Be willing to move on and just ride with those. If you can't move these guys for a quarterback, then I'm going to try to up tier. Like, can I sell Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison together? It might be hard with Addison getting suspended. Can I sell Waddle and Williams and come away with Nico Collins? Can I do something like that? Those are the moves that I'd be looking to make. You've got wide receivers to pivot from. I didn't really love the trade that you had sent in of, like, Lamb and I think, was it Achan or something, to get a quarterback. I would shoot lower. Call that one done. Next one up. Time stamp at 17:55 is for Jackfancher's done. Uaja. It's probably not how you say that. Just putting together the YouTube chapters. Where's your team? Uaja. Coleman. C21. That's your username. Here we go. 10-team Superflex start 9. So a shallower league. We'll go position by position. We'll talk about it. Drake May, Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold. This is probably a 3 for me. Ranking just 3 out of 5. You have a lot of value in the name of Drake May. I would, based on your team, I might be hoping that someone sees him the way the market does of QB7. Maybe it's you. I don't totally think Drake May should be ranked QB7 in Dynasty right now. I'm typically selling him if I have him. Kyler Murray, I would not be surprised at all if Kyler Murray comfortably outscores Drake May this year, next year. He's listed as QB15. He just has a long track record of top 10 production when healthy. So I really like Kyler Murray. I think the market's a bit down on him. I would really like to have Kyler. Running backs, Devon Achane, Derrick Henry, Tajay Spears, Javonte Williams. So 2 studs and friends. This probably a really, really good 3. I'd like a more comfortable third option or a younger second option to get you up into that 4 range. But we can contend with this. Wide receivers, Lamb, Wilson, Olave, Godwin, Diggs. Ooh, we're probably looking at 3 good regular starters out of a start 9. And then tight end, I mean, this is probably 3. 3 out of 5. Like Lamb doing a lot of heavy lifting, not much depth. Tight ends, Kyle Pitts, Brenton Strange. Like we're looking for other options here. In a 10-team league, Kyle Pitts, I think he was tight end 15 last year. Like it's just not really helping you. He's got a lot of hype to his name. Maybe we can sell on that based on the last couple of weeks. I probably would like to sell. This is what, year 4 for Pitts? I'm not looking to fall for it again. If I can have someone else fall for it and I just get out and get that value, I'd be looking to do it. So in a 10-team league, you're ranked 6. You're probably going for it this year. You should be going for the playoffs this year. Especially if it's 6 teams get in, then you have a real good chance to make it. If it's 4 teams, the league is wide open. What moves would I make? I'm selling Drake May. If I can just lock in production, I would check with everyone in your league. If there's someone who thinks Drake May should be QB7, QB6, on some days he's ranked QB6. If someone in your league will pay that, sell him. Sell him now, down tier to, I mean, I guess you're down tiering to what they have. But if I could down tier and have Kyler and Dak and heavily improve my wide receivers, that's what I would like to do. If I could move, you still have 2 seconds. If you could move these 2 second-round picks right now and buy Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, and get a 4th wide receiver option, let's kind of count out your starting 9. May and Murray is 1 and 2. Pitts is 3. Achane Henry is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Godwin would be your 9th. Diggs would be your 9th. If you could just send 2 seconds and get, especially if these are like mid or late seconds, if it's the 201 or 22, and I guess this is because it's a 10-team league, if these are after 204, I don't really want to make the picks. I'd probably just sell those and try to get Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, or another good veteran option. I mean, maybe you could get to DK Metcalf for 2 seconds. Some people are just down on DK Metcalf. I would look for that. You would just want a 4th wide receiver option. And if you could move on from Drake May and lock in good production, like Baker would give you really good production. Dak would give you really good production. I'm not really waiting to see the breakout. I'm contending now. Holding breakout players and hoping that they hit when they have value this high. Like Drake May needs to outperform everything he did last year just to get back to QB7 value. So if I could sell that, I definitely would. And I would just get Dak production, who can give you top 12, top 6 production this year. He's just older. You don't really need to make any moves at running back. CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Olave, really good options. We just want a good 4th option. So if you could move those seconds and bring in another one, and then maybe take Drake May and Wilson and heavily tier up to the top and down tier, I would look at that. We'll mark this one done, and we'll keep on trucking. LFG guys, don't give up. For Palmer, let's put a timestamp on here. Palmer will go 23-20 for Palmer 9, who is in a 10-team Superflex start 9. So we just did a shallower league like this. 10-team by 9, you're starting 9D players every week. So you need these guys to be the best. I don't see any 2025 picks. You guys, looks like you guys have done your draft, which is good. We're going to go position by position. We'll talk about your outlook for this year and the next 2 years. And then we'll talk about some moves you can make to get you contending as often as possible. Quarterbacks, Drake May, JJ McCarthy, Sam Darnold. This is, like, to me, a really strong 2. Maybe a 3 just on the value of Drake May. I just don't love seeing someone like JJ McCarthy be QB 13, Drake May be QB 7. All of this is just based on their age. They're both 22, going on 23. We haven't seen JJ McCarthy play, and we've seen Drake May be okay. I haven't seen him be elite, and he doesn't have the pieces around him that I think to be elite this year. So if I could sell him as QB 7, that's back-to-back with Patrick Mahomes. If someone in here had Mahomes and would just sell Mahomes to you, I would make that flip, but that's probably not available to us. We'll look for other options at your team. Running backs, you have Achane, Walker, Henry, Tracy. This is like a really good 4 out of 5. We've got H.N. Walker, Henry. That's 3 starters. That's probably 3 guys starting every week for this team. Wide receivers, Jefferson, Neighbors, Harrison, Godwin, Jacoby Myers, Jalen McMillan. Really good. This is really good. It's probably a 4. 4 out of 5. Tight ends, Dalton Kincaid, Evan Ingram. This is like a 2. Maybe, I know some people are believing in the breakout for Evan Ingram, believing in another good year for Evan Ingram. We've seen him have good years. We've seen him have kind of nothing years. He's just not that efficient with the targets that he gets. So that worries me. Like, is he a great player? I don't know. He'll be 31 this year. That doesn't bother me. But you maybe have 1 to 2 years of good production with Denver, possibly. And then we're hoping Mason Taylor breaks out for you, or Brenton Strange with a different offensive coordinator coming in, taking on a lead role, and really stepping up. Those are just low percentage shots. So let's talk about this team. It's contending this year. Even if you lose Derrick Henry after this year, you've got 2 firsts. You're ready to roll another guy in there. You're ready to run a receiver at the flex instead of a running back. Because when we count out your 9 starters, it's May, McCarthy, Kincaid at 3, H.N. Walker, Henry is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, we're not even starting Godwin, Myers, McMillan unless it's a bye week. This team's going for it. So holding 2 future firsts, I don't know that we need to. And holding on Drake May and hoping that he breaks out to get you back to QB7 value, I don't know that we need to do that. I don't want to have like 2 guys here that I need both of them to break out. And Drake May seems to have more name value. So if I could move off May, like if I could just get to Kyler, would someone give you quite a bit more on top of May would someone give you quite a bit more on top of Kyler for May? Like, check in. You've got 9 other people in your league. There could be someone really hyped on Drake May. I've been doing a bunch of startups. There's usually one guy who's really hyped up on May. And if I can be the one selling Drake May, that is something I really like to do. However, it might be you who's really hyped up on Drake May that I would be trying to sell him to. I just think with the rest of your roster, like, that upside luxury is not something I really want to risk. I would rather take Baker Mayfield, Kyler, hell, like Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, all of these guys that are probably going to be fine. They're much cheaper than Drake May, and we can move that stuff into like a better tight end or go from Marv to Puka. Like, really just shoot and have 3 amazing wide receivers and just blow everyone out from the receivers and from your running backs, and then just have solid quarterback production and solid tight ends. That's where I would look. Jacoby Myers, I don't really want to move. He's just going to be a great flex option. Could be a weekly starter, depending on how bye weeks go. I mean, you may end up starting him quite a bit as H.N., Henry, Harrison, and et cetera go on. If you could sell Tyrone Tracy now, I don't see a reason to hold him. So Tracy and a first, what could that get you? I would look at that. Or Tracy a first and May. Like, how high could you go for a monster quarterback upgrade? Instead of down tiering from May, a team like this with the value you have, like, where does Drake May in a first get you? Does it get you to Jalen Hurts? Does it get you up to Lamar? Maybe. Talk to the people in your league. You should be fully aware of what the quarterback market in your league is, because you have a guy who's really valuable based on potential and name. And if you can sell potential and name, you should, and just get Lamar, Hurts. Those are probably the up tiers that are reasonable. I don't know how much it would take to get from Drake May to Josh Allen, but I wouldn't hate that either. Like, Drake May and 2 firsts to go to Josh Allen on this team, I wouldn't hate it. You got a lot of options. If you have any questions, let me know in the YouTube comments. If this is helpful, please put a like on the YouTube. That helps me. Thank you very much, and thanks for using the site, man. MVPVD for MVPVD. We are at 29:40 on the timestamp for you. Let's talk about your team. 12-team Superflex, start 10, PPR. That's what I like, with a Tight end premium. So first thing we look at with these is this keep trade cut value. This is probably over a week old now, so it would not factor in Jordan Addison suspension that happened today, Kyron Williams extension that happened today. That stuff's not going to matter a ton. Your team does look to be at the top of the board pretty drastically. We take this number with a grain of salt, but when you're at 111, you're probably better than 78. You're probably better than 82, and you're probably better than 87. It's not a massive automatic win. We're going to go through your team and we'll talk about it. I said this was Superflex. This is the format I like the most is what you've got. We're going to go position by position. We'll cover your outlook for this year, next year, and so on. We'll talk about moves you can make to get you to the championship as quickly as possible. Quarterbacks is Purdy, Fields, Stafford, Shuck. I don't hate this. I don't hate this at all. You've got none of this 111 in this column, or very little, and you're going to get good production. It's like really value-efficient production. Purdy at QB 14, I would not be surprised if he finished the year at QB 6 again, QB 7, QB 8. He's just in that group of pocket passers, and if he gets a good string of touchdowns, like if he throws a couple more touchdowns to McCaffrey or throws them to Kittle instead of McCaffrey running them in, he'll have a great year. Justin Fields, I think, finishes top 12. He's listed as QB 24 because he probably doesn't play after this year for the Jets, but we don't care that much about that. Even though we're in Dynasty, I bet Fields is pretty cheap for you. This is still like a tight, hopefully, I'll look at the rest of the team, hopefully well-constructed team. And then Stafford probably on his last 1 to 2 years. And Tyler Shuck, if you can turn Tyler Shuck into a first-round pick at any point this year, I probably would. Unless he starts looking like MVP week 1. So it's probably a 2 out of 5 on a ranking, a strong 2, just because there's not that much flexibility. But I like having, if I'm going to pick the way that I want my teams to be, I want to be a little bit weaker at quarterback, a little bit weaker at tight end, and then great at running back and amazing at wide receiver. So we'll take a look at what you got. Running backs, you got Bucky, Ken, McCaffrey, Henry. This is probably a 4, just on options. A little bit of flexibility, not a ton of flexibility. It's really just a 4 based on you have 4 good, really good options. Bucky Irving gives you some flexibility. No true stud that we think of. Like maybe McCaffrey's a stud, but there's no Bijan. But it's really good. If you're starting 10, you probably have 4 weekly starters here. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, Trey Harris, Kyle Williams, Jennings, Diggs. Okay, friends, this is probably 2 or 3. Jamar Chase is probably what makes it the difference between 2 and 3. You have the best wide receiver and then kind of just buddies after that. Like Metcalf and Moore, weekly starters. You need Godwin to come back. You need Trey Harris to break out. You need Williams to break out. I think there's some moves we can make here, though, to help you out. Tight ends, Travis Kelce is probably going to be top 10 again. Jake Ferguson is just like what you would find in a dictionary if you looked up tight end. It's him. Nothing amazing. And you have some breakout candidates. Fannin, Gadsden. This is okay. I mean, it's probably only like a 1 or a 2 on value and flexibility, but decent production. So I think that, like I was saying, like weaker quarterback, weaker tight end, like really strong in the middle. You're high in the middle, like Ohio. This is pretty good. So contending this year, yeah, you're going for the championship this year. You've already moved in all of your future value. I somewhat see it in your running backs. I'm not sure where the rest of it is. Like these extra firsts, maybe those trades were made a while ago, so we probably can't really stand to move any more firsts. Well, you don't have any. You have a 28, but you have to hold on to that at this point. If you needed to, you could pull a first out of Jamar after this year. But let's kind of talk about moves for this year and moves for next year. Man, with one of these guys, McCaffrey, if McCaffrey like hits week 1 and the value spikes up to like, look at where Saquon is right now. I did a video on Saquon about a week ago. People are giving a lot for him and he could be disappearing. Any of these guys can disappear at any time. McCaffrey, Henry, Saquon. So if we see a big week from McCaffrey, like with this team, I might try to get you to pivot that to wide receiver and just insulate a little bit of that value. Otherwise, we're looking at like contending and possibly needing to reload with how much of your value or production is veteran running backs and quarterbacks that could disappear. So can we start up tiering from some of these guys? Like, we don't need to see if Kyle Williams breaks out, Juwan Jennings breaks out. Can we move that up and lock in? Let me think. No, maybe on a team like this, I'm just going to hold for Harris or Williams to hope that they break out and start being the replacements for this. So if we're starting 10, we're starting Purdy, Fields 1, Kelsey 3, Bucky Irving is your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th starter, and then 8, 9, 10. Okay, so when we look at it like that for this year, and we need to, like, we're hoping Chris Godwin comes back, but if we could move Trey Harris and Kyle Williams and get up to, could you get to Xavier Worthy and have a good young breakout candidate who could help get you not needing to rebuild? Could you get to Pearsall? That's another good option. Like, probably costs around a first. Like, could you send Trey Harris and Kyle Williams, guys that were probably like a 205 and a 210, 301 in a rookie draft? Maybe if you need to throw a 4 on there, see if you can send kind of a package of upside potential to get what I think is a better upside shot, like Xavier Worthy or Ricky Pearsall. I would look for that. And then I would consider a pivot off of Henry. If you could move from Henry to Worthy, I might consider that. Those are some of the options that I would look at with this team. If for some, if we get a McCaffrey injury, a Henry injury, and you're not getting there this year, like, we're shutting down and doing the rebuild. That's what I'm thinking. Let me know how this one goes. If you have any questions, let me know in the YouTube comments. We'll wrap that one up. 37.25. Next one is for Baby Back Gibbs, who's in a 24-team league. I don't know how helpful I'm going to be, because you're going to have some odd, and none of these have, looks like it's not done drafting yet. So when you're done with the draft on this one, resubmit it, and hopefully by then I've added a text box where you can give a little bit more context to what's going on. But I'm going to put this one in here and mark it done. It'll send it out to you so you're not waiting on this, and you'll just see, like, Austin Dave, I don't know how to help you. It looks like you're still doing a startup right now is my best guess for how the site looks here. And this is why these are free to go through, because not everything works yet. Drew Shipley, 12 crash outs. Drew Shipley, where are you, buddy? There you go, Pikachu. I like it. We'll timestamp this for you, 38:20, and you'll hear me do the timestamping. Alrighty. 12-team Superflex, start 11, half point per reception with a half point tight end premium on a top. So you're near the bottom half of the board, but this looks like it's coming out of a startup almost. Like when we're at 93 at the top and 80 at the bottom, that's really tight. It's a wide open league. So we're going to throw this column out almost entirely for you. We'll go position by position. We'll talk about how you're doing. We'll talk about your chances of contending this year, next year, and so on. And moves that I might make if this were my team. Is this a start 11? Okay. So let's take a look at position by position. Then we'll look at your starting lineup, your future picks. I'm going to grade kind of each position that you have on their production and their flexibility. Like Hurts and Tua, that's like a 3 borderline 4 for me. I really like Hurts and I really like Tua. I've already pulled up his stats once in this video, but he had a stretch last year of like 23, 28, 25. Like, it's really good. That's really, really good production, and people are just worried about the concussion. So if he doesn't get hurt, like that can be a league-winning move. And when they're paying out the money, no one checks like, oh, was Tua a concussion risk? They don't care. Like he just scores the points. I'm expecting Tua to be fine and be healthy a lot of the year. And I'm willing to make that bet in plenty of dynasty leagues. So I feel okay here. Running backs, we got Henry, Harvey, Tracy, Blue. This is feeling like a 3, almost a week 3. Henry probably in his last year. They've extended him for next year. So he's probably playing next year. I don't know how good he'll be next year. RJ Harvey, we need him to break out. And then Tyrone Tracy, if the Giants move on from Dayball, like Tyrone Tracy probably just becomes dust in your mouth. Ash in your mouth. Jaden Blue. I could see Jaden Blue having a lead role in Dallas. Like Rico Dowdle is not a big name. He was a 4th, 5th, something. Don't quote me on that, but a late round pick. And he was fine. So it could be Jaden Blue. It could be Javonte Williams in Dallas. And they could both be okay. So I like the upside shot there. Jarquez Hunter takes a hit. This is recorded a couple hours after Kyron Williams signed his extension. But he might have a role. And then we have a couple like dart throws. This feels okay. You can contend with this. We're hoping to see something pretty big here at wide receivers where we have Jefferson, Nakua. Oh no. Josh Downs, Jalen Noel, Cedric Tillman, Josh Palmer. Okay. This is probably like a really great 2 in a start 11, 2 out of 5. There's just not a ton here. And then tight ends, Kyle Pitts, Travis Kelce. That's probably a 2 or a 3. Like I think Kelce will give you the production this year. And we hope that Harold Fannin hits for you. And then Kyle Pitts, who knows, man? Who knows? I'm not a Pitts believer, but who knows? So, are you contending this year? Let's count out 11 and get a gauge for how we feel. Like if Hurts, Tua is 1, 2, Kelce is 3, Henry, Harvey, probably Tracy is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're hoping for an 11 somewhere. So if we're trying to go for it this year, we might need to do a bit of splits. Like could you can you down tier from Justin Jefferson and get to Amon-Ra Plus? Like that would really help you contend this year. Because you're right on the edge. If you're 8th, like you could probably sneak into the playoffs with the right amount, with the right moves. And the places that I see moves available for you. Oh, you have Jefferson and Puka. Yeah, you might. I would look and see like if I could get. I want like a big value upside shot. Could you get Worthy and something else on a down tier? Or do we just pack it in and go? I don't know that this is a team that I would pack in and go. I'm going to look and see what happens because Cedric Tillman could be a pretty good starter for you. If I could move Tyrone Tracy into 1st and come away with someone in that Kyron Williams area, I don't know that you could get that deal, but I would ask, and I would be fine doing it. This team doesn't feel like a heavy rebuild. It feels right on the edge. And with Jefferson and Puka, I'm not super worried about having a 1st next year because you could always down tier and grab a 1st if that's what you want. What other options speak to me? Like, we can't really do anything with Parker Washington, Keenan, Jalen Lane, Josh Palmer. I would ride this and see where it goes because it's wide open on this league. Yeah, I'm not making many moves here. I'm not making a ton of moves. I like Tua as a good value upside. I think this is a pretty good start. Like I said, it looks like it was coming out of a redraft. This feels solid. With a lot of stuff here, though, I'm taking some of these guys as like upside options that I'm cashing out if I can. If at any point you could get a 1st for Tyrone Tracy, I would, and then I would try to make a follow-up deal to up tier somewhere else or lock in a different running back. That's what I would be looking to do, because you got to be making a bunch of small trades here, like small value wins, and really cycle this. Like, I don't really want, like, if Jalen Noel shows up week 1, I'm probably I'm not shooting for the moon on some of these value guys. If we see value swings up for Jaden Blue, Tyrone Tracy, Jalen Noel, Josh Downs, we can't hold all of those guys as hopeful value risers. So if one hits, I'm moving. If someone is willing to buy Jalen Lane on this Terry McLaurin news, I'm moving. There's too many of those on this team. And that's the main change I would make. The other spot where you could get a lot into your production would be moving Jalen Hurts in a drastic down tier for like Baker and getting a really good wide receiver option. I don't know that I want to do an up tier. I probably just want to do or if I like Hurts and Tracy for Baker and a great receiver as an option. That's the type of thing that I'd be looking to make here. Otherwise, I'm just going to run with this through the season and sell one or two of these dart throw shots as they hit. Next team, Better Call Hall. We'll get this time stamped for you. 4610 is when you'll start seeing this, which means you'll see me type in that timestamp. Let's go through your team. 10 team, 1 quarterback, start 8, super shallow. On the keep trade cut value, you're at the top-ish of the board, but it's a 10-team league. This is really actually pretty close together. So we're going to go through and talk about your guys, your producers. What we want to have is guys that are like, as we're evaluating this column and this ranking, we want to see like an efficient use of value. And I talk about efficient uses of value so that I can immediately pivot to something that's not an efficient use of value, which is Drake May. Like, it's possible he's a great upside player, but when we're calculating this column, it's coming from keep trade cut values. So we might say like, hey, that's like kind of sucks. They think Drake May is QB7. The market does. I'm not holding him at that price. If I could sell Drake May as QB6, QB7 right now, I would. And just ride with Goff and Prescott for this year. So your quarterbacks, it's probably a 3. Like, you have a ton of value, name value, and upside in May. I don't know that I want to hold Drake May for upside if I have Dak Prescott and Goff, who are going to be okay. And I want to shoot for the championship. And I don't want to need Drake May to hit to win the championship if I could just sell him for a producer. Let's go to your running backs. How are we feeling? Breece Hall, Joe Mixon, Tootin Blue, Ramondre. Like, this would be a great spot to pivot from Drake May and get someone. Like, could you do May and Mixon and just get, probably not in a 1 QB league. I don't know how much you could get for Drake May in a 1 QB league. I'm normally used to 2, so I'll readjust. We're going to need some running backs. This is probably like a strong 2 or a weak 3. And then a 10-team start 8, this is actually probably a weak 2. Like, we just need more. We need more amazing options. So when I look at wide receivers, I'm hoping to see some amazing options. Brian Thomas, Amon-Ra, Devonta Smith, Golden. This is probably a really good 3 or a weak 4. Like, if we're 10 teams and we only need to start 80 players total, like, we might need to do some up tiers to get these guys cruising up. So Devontae Adams is probably like a weekly starter on this team. Thomas, St. Brown, Adams, Devonta Smith in the flex, and like no second running back. Tight ends, Trey McBride, Elijah Arroyo. Seattle, we got Seattle locked up, and then maybe Theo Johnson expands his role. How do we feel about this team? Like, your starting lineup of 8 is probably Dak. Breece is 2. McBride 3. Jaden Blue 4. And then 5, 6, 7, 8. So we probably need to tier up. Or I guess Devontae Adams would be in there. I mean, if you could move Higgins and Williams, and if you could come away with, I would shoot for like Xavier Worthy, a guy who could explode this year. That's what I would look for. I would trust Xavier Worthy to blow up and be great for me way more than the combo of Higgins and Williams. Other options, man, if you could get anything for Ramondre now, if you could sell some hype on one of these guys, like Damian, I don't want to have 3 dart throw options here. So if one of them gets any sort of hype, I'll probably just move on from Jaden Blue, Rashard Smith, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, Damian Martinez. I'm trying to lock in like a second better starter here. This just feels like a big hole holding us back in a 10-team start 8. Let's talk other options. Or how do we feel about it? How do we feel about this team? Like, Mixon's not a horrible RB2. This one I got to think about it just like redraft. Like, okay, now that I'm talking myself more into this team, I'm still looking to do a Higgins and Williams up tier to really speed along a value growth. If you go by Rice on suspension for Higgins and Williams, I would love that. Or if someone loves Pat Bryant, like I would send all 3 of those guys to get Rice if I could. If you could get AJ Brown on this team, like I would really like that. From Higgins, Williams, and a little bit more, maybe a pick to get that. And actually, I would just sell a first and Jaden Higgins if I could get AJ Brown right now. I would look at that. Matthew Golden, I want to hold and see what happens. I like his upside potential, and I think it could happen pretty quick. So in my leagues, I'm holding him. But in a 10-team start 8, like you need Kyle Williams to smash hit for him to be a value or a starter. So if I could move Williams and a first and come away with a player that I know is great, I probably would. So those are some options, some avenues to explore. And we'll move on. J Hitters, Justin with 4 zeros. Well, let's get you time stamped. We are at 52 minutes and 5 seconds. Oop. There we go. We got a timestamp for you. Let's look at your team. You're in a 12-team Superflex, start 10, half PPR, tight end, premium. Rankings. This league looks like it's got 1 or 2, 3 selling teams. You're right in the middle. Like you're probably a contender to make the playoffs. And then one team that's a tiny bit ahead of the other. So this league's pretty wide open. Looks like 8 or 9 teams contending for 3 playoff spots, roughly. Quarterbacks. We're going to go position by position. Looks like you've made a ton of trades for future value. Quarterbacks, you got Bo Nix, Penix, Dart. That's 2 good enough starters. I'd rock with that. This feels like a 3. Like Bo Nix gives you a ton of flexibility. Penix could easily just be a solid QB2 for a couple years and be great. You know, be great, efficient use of value. Whatever it took to get him could be pretty solid for you. Running backs, I like Ken Walker a lot. I'd probably put him like, I don't know, maybe not a lot, like RB12 compared to 15. I think he's a really good player. He's had a couple issues with injuries, but like tons of players that people love have had stretches of years where they had injuries. Saquon was an injury concern for a while, and now he's a golden god of fantasy. So it's just fresh in our minds that Ken Walker has been injured. James Conner played a full season last year. He used to be a guy that would miss a couple games each year to injury. Not much else after that, though. So this feels like at best a 2, like a decent 2. Wide receivers: Pickens, Pearsall, DJ Moore, Tyreek Hill, Jerry Jeudy, Jack Besh, Jalen Noel. Tight ends: Colson Loveland, Britton Strange. Okay, the way this is structured right now, not a strong contender this year. But I think you have enough to contend. Like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 27 seconds, 2, 26 seconds. My worry is that you look at your team and think, I'm going to draft. And like, what is going on? All these 2028 firsts? What am I missing on this league? I think you're ready to start buying some players. Like if we look at your starting 10, how bad does it feel? Like Bo Nix, Penix, that's good. So that's 2. Loveland, I'd like you to spend I wouldn't care if you spent a 27 second and just buy Travis Kelce on. We're gonna start talking about moves. I'll put a pin in that. Let's look at your starting 10, and then talk about can we really beef it up? Because we might be able to with all of these picks. Loveland, I don't love for this year. Brenton Strange could be a starter for you. So we went 1, 2, 3. It's like an iffy 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 10 starters. So we're going to start looking at can we up tier? If you moved Pickens and a future first and came away with AJ Brown or Garrett Wilson, that's real. You could get that. That would beef you up. So that would be, let's count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 firsts. I did a number, just a calculation guess of the team that won the championship in my league. That's distributed similarly to this. They had about 14 firsts of rough value in their lineup. So if we count yours, Bo Nix is 1, 2, Penix is a bit over 3, Ken Walker would get you to 4, and then we'll say James Conner and Pickens gets you to 5. Pearsall, DJ Moore, and Tyreek Hill and Jerry Jeudy probably gets you 6, 7, 8, 9 on Loveland. And then you have enough firsts. You could trade some of these firsts in and start contending now. If we moved Jack Besh and a second, who has Devontae Adams? This guy might just move on. Take that young rookie shot and pivot out. I would ask him, would you move that? Would you do that? Or would someone do Jack Besh, this guy, Jack Besh in a second for Mike Evans? Your team is contending. You have enough capital and total value to shape this into a contending team now. You don't need another year off. James Conner could play for you. Ken Walker could be fine. Could you send... same type of deal. I know we can't send Jack Besh to everyone, but same type of deal. Could you move Jack Besh in a second and get Kamara? Kamara's going to play this year. Kamara's going to be good this year. Kamara's signed for next year, and the Saints can't really cut him to save any money next year. I would start looking at this team, with the number of firsts that you have, can we just hard up tier from DJ Moore, up tier from Tyreek Hill, up tier from Jerry Jeudy, and jump way up on guys? I would start seeing, you don't have to send all of these out as offers, but ask people hey, Tyreek Hill in a first, can that get me up to Garrett Wilson? Can that get me up to, I don't think it could get you to Nico Collins, but can it get you AJ Brown? That's another really good option. For you, I'm just going to pull up our recent startups. So here, the draft results. Can you get Rashee Rice? Can you get Garrett Wilson? Could you get... I don't know that you'll be able to get Drake London on these, but for all of these receivers, I'm asking, hey, a first and one of my guys, can I get up to Nico Collins? Can I get up to Ladd? Can I get to AJ Brown? Can I get to Travis Hunter? I don't love T. Higgins, but I think if you're looking to make cycles and cycles of trades, so can I get to T. Higgins and then sell T. Higgins with another player to up tier or pivot somewhere else? If you just start making a bunch of trades, you're contending this year, you would be pretty safe to make the playoffs. Start cycling through. How many firsts did we say you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 firsts and seconds. We got to start getting some of that stuff working. Can you get Travis Kelce on this team? I don't know that I'm like, this team should have Colston Loveland. I don't know if you should. Could you send a first and get Hawkinson and then get a first plus back from Loveland and move that into receivers? Like you have enough. We just got to focus it right. Like, can you go from Bo Nix to Baker, use the young upside of Penix and the young value riser in Dart, and like just solidify great production here and up tier at receivers? You have a ton of base guys that are all good enough that you can just add firsts to. I probably don't want to move Pearsall, even if I'm up tiering, because he's a big value riser for me. You know, once San Francisco starts playing, like if he's in the top role there, and I definitely could be, if it's CMC, Kittle, Pearsall as the main options, he's not going to be wide receiver 31. He's going to be like top 15. That's my guess. And as we get closer to the season and people start thinking, oh, well, Jennings is hurt, Ayuk is still hurt, they're going to come around on like, well, Juwan Jennings is not amazing. He's not an amazing talent. We don't need Ricky Pearsall to be an amazing talent. It's a really good scheme, and he can be great. Yeah, for this, I feel like I'm just going to keep repeating things. Like, send in tons of trade advice. If you come over to trade advice, if you're worried about stuff, you can hit trade advice. It looks like a trade calculator, but when you hit ask, it just comes to me and I'll let you know. And when it comes to me, here, I'll even show you this. Am I not logged in? Why do I have no trades? Yeah, that was just a bug on the site. So it looks like, dude, you've already submitted a trade. When I get these, the reason I don't want to do trades in TikTok. Okay, so I think this is who I'm thinking of. Like, I can just see your whole team. I can see all the rosters as I'm evaluating it, and I can suggest more stuff to you. So start making a bunch of trades. You're just looking to, if you're selling these firsts, you don't want to bring in junk stuff. So like here, Colston Loveland, DJ Moore, and Judy for another 27 first. Dude, I don't know that you're still in a rebuild. You have good young options here, but you could be fine with DJ Moore. I'd rather send DJ Moore in a second and get a Dunze. So you have enough stuff to be contending, which is why I tell people do these roster reviews. Like, you think you're still in a rebuild, but bud, I think you're coming out. Like, let's start spending these picks. I'm going to wrap this one up for you, Justin. Where are you? Mark this one as completed. Mark yours is completed. Here's the timestamp for, I think, the last one. 01, 02. We'll just call it 01, 03 on the timestamp. And we're doing this last one for the Prodigy. The Prodigy, yo boy Llama 23. Here we go, bud. 10-team, 1 quarterback, start 9. Really, really shallow. Sometimes these start 9 is like a kicker or a defense. The site does not show kickers and defenses, which is why these are free. So if this advice ends up not being amazing for you, or if it doesn't fit because you're starting a kicker and a defense, you're getting what you're paid for. Let's look at your team. So you're at the top of the keep trade cut value chart, value line here. And this is really just for sorting. I want to know that this team is probably better than that one. But is this one better than this one? Probably not. Like, they're the same. 85 and 89 is the same. 83 and 88 is the same. But you are near the top of this. We're going to go through position by position, talk about like where value is, where I think the value from keep trade cut might not be right. And we'll go through. We'll give each position a score. We'll look at your future picks. We'll talk about if you're contending this year, next year, and so on, and then moves that I would make if this were my team. Quarterbacks, Brock Purdy, Michael Penix. That's a fine, solid 2. Wait, never mind. It's a 1 quarterback league. Purdy's fine. Purdy is like the definition of quarterback. He's probably going to be top 12 this year or top 10. He's not going to win you the league, but he's not going to lose the league for you. So he's fine. He's like a 2. Not really going to be able to get to trade him for what he does for you. So you're just kind of riding with Purdy, which is I would be fine with. Running backs, Henderson, Caleb Johnson, James Cook, Brian Robinson. My gut is saying 3, and then if Henderson and Johnson hit, like you could be a 4 next year. Wide receivers, Lamb, Puka, Collins, Rice, Higgins. That feels like a 4. Like Lamb, Puka, Nico is a great 3 for you. Probably starting every week. And then tight ends, I'm really high on TJ Hawkinson. I like Tucker Kraft. I'm not as high on Evan Ingram as anyone else. And then I like the shot on Terrence Ferguson. Then you have a lot of future picks. And I don't know that we need to hold them all. Like, it would be cool to get, what's his name? Is it Jeremiah Smith in 2027? But winning your championship is cooler. So I don't know that I'm like, oh, I've got to get all of these 27s if it's going to cost me the championship. That's my first gut read on this team. I'll start talking about some moves, though. Like 10 team, start 9. So we're going to count out 9. Like Purdy, 1. Hawkinson, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, yeah, you have 9. We might just want to up tier to a better receiver. Like if I could move. Okay, now that I'm looking at this, it's just future seconds that you have that I don't really want to hold. If I could move 227 seconds and put Devontae Adams on this team, Mike Evans on this team, like really, really good, productive rookies, or not rookies, veterans, I probably would. If I could go from, Jaden Higgins, like if I could sell Jaden Higgins in a first and get A.J. Brown and just win the championship, I would do that. We're looking to just get massive studs at receiver. And then if you could up tier from, or do some sort of down tier from like Travion Henderson to the last year of Derrick Henry, but go from Rice to, you already have Puka. If you go from Rice to Amon-Ra, like we're looking to make those types of trades to get, you only got to start 9 guys. So we want 9 studs in a league like this to lock up the victory. Purdy is okay with cutting out and saying we're not going for stud, we're going for a safe floor and 8 studs. Like you can start thinking about your team like that, or 7 studs and 2 safe guys, like Hawkinson safe, Purdy safe, and then we would want 7 studs. And I see like maybe 1, 2. James Cook is a great 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6. Like let's do some combining. Sell a 27 first to get to another stud. Sell these 27 seconds to get to a stud veteran. So that could be Mike Evans for this year, Devontae Adams. We can get you up to A.J. Brown. Those are all really, really good veteran options. Different price tags, but really good. That's where I would look to go. And then I don't need to have 2 rookie running backs. I would be fine if I moved to a veteran and got more trade value to up tier receivers. That's where I would look on that one. Thank you very much for submitting it. We are now at the end. Thank you very much if you made it to the end. Blah.